So a lot of guys, myself included, for a very, very long time used to be, but I assume some of you still are, a bitch. I especially, when I was little, since the dawn of time, really, I just used to be a pussy. I know this sounds unprofessional, but I just need to get it out of my gut. Every time I wanted to start something new, every time I wanted to perhaps switch my interest or try something that I've not done before, every time, bro, I'd get these thoughts in the back of my mind just telling me, but what if people are going to find out? Or what if people are going to make fun of me? And this used to haunt me. This kind of abusive thinking, right? This self-destructive almost way of thinking haunted me for a very long time. When I was little and I wanted to start playing basketball when I was around 14, 15. Oh, but what if people are going to make fun of me? What if they're going to tell me to go back skateboarding? It's just always the same thing, right? Even when I started this YouTube channel, I used to be frightened. I knew that I wanted to spread my message to others. Whilst on the other side, I still had this brain, this way of thinking in the back of my mind, just whispering to me, but what if people are going to find out and they're not going to accept you for what you talk about? What if they're going to see you as weird? And this kind of thinking used to haunt me to... Okay, I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but you get the general narrative. I used to be a bitch for a very long time. I would either not do something because of these thoughts, or when I would actually do that thing, I would just feel like restricted, like frictionless in a way. And this used to haunt me for a very long time, and even to this day, it still slightly holds on. I won't lie to you, I'm being authentic, right? And especially with speaking to girls, this used to be devastating. I used to think that there wouldn't even be a single girl who would even bother looking at me, you know? It's like I always chased girls for the sake of acceptance. I used to think that once I would actually find somebody, I would be like, yeah, now I can finally, accept myself for who I am, because there is somebody who I used to think that accepts me, whatever, right? It was just this autistic way of thinking. But when it came down to actually walking up to girls and talking to them, bro, never in heavens, never in heavens would I actually find the courage to do that, right? All the way until I was around 14 years old. Pretty sure I was 14 years old. It is when I met a girl who I actually really, really liked. Now, back then I was a skinny kid with funny hair, just like playing Minecraft all the time. I was the equivalent of what was that? How does Hamza call fucking NPCs? Jeffries. I don't like calling that, but I was the pinnacle Jeffrey at that time period, right? The ideal example. But I really liked that girl, right? And it was to such an extent that I thought to myself that I would never forgive myself if I didn't just shoot my shot. But the way that I went about it was just, I came up with this almost plan, right? It wasn't really a plan, but I had an idea of how I wanted to go about it. And the general idea, right? It was that as soon as I met up with that girl, right? The way that I finally, got things going, right? Is I just started a random conversation based off of anything that would relate. This is a way of conversation starting that I actually recommend to this day, because it's just the most casual, the most fluent, right? This is the way we start conversations without even thinking that we do, right? It's just by using what's around us to just get things going, right? So let's say you're at a bus stop and you could just say, oh, I wonder where the bus is at. You could be at the gym and ask somebody, yo, how many sets you have left? It's just your situational awareness, right? I don't remember the exact day, but we met in this sort of like way, right? Where it turns out we had that one friend who went to my class, and turns out we knew each other, blah, 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 whatever, right? When we actually got to know each other for a little bit longer, right? I wanted to this sounds so cringe to talk about on camera, right? But I wanted to take things a step further, right? So at one point I finally got her Snapchat, and oh my God. I was so attention seeking, right? I was just so desperate that every single day I'll text her the most random bullshit, like the most out of the box things, just to get a response. There wasn't really a goal. There wasn't a goal as to why I was texting her. There wasn't a deeper purpose to it. I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. Because I had this fear that, oh, okay, what if I don't text her once, then she's gonna ignore me, whatever, and everything's lost, right? Once again, it's that same kind of autistic overthinking that I talked about in the beginning of the video. This is very crucial, right? And every day, I would text her the most random shit, right? Like I would send bullshit Snapchats just for streaks, right? I would like text her the most random things, and oh my gosh, when I wouldn't have anything to text, right? Whenever I would run out of ideas or whatever, I would literally send her fucking Minecraft memes, like those like fucking Dream SMP like memes. I can't believe I'm admitting to this. I never thought I would say this on camera, right? But you'll never find a more authentic boy than me, so this is the way it was, right? I was just sending her the most random like Minecraft memes and shit, just for the sake of getting things going, right? And you know how long this went on for? Well, I'll let you take a guess, honestly. How long do you think this went on for? Just me texting her pretty much every day, right? Just for the sake of texting and not actually getting anywhere. I thought that I was getting closer, but you know how it is. How long do you think it lasted? A week? 2 weeks? Months? 2, 3? Nearly 6. Almost half a year. Since like September all the way to like July. Because in July, we had our winter break, right? So besides the winter break that you have in Christmas, right? The way it works in Poland, at least, is that we have another winter break during the months of like January and February, right? It depends where you live. Every state has like a different timing for it, but that's irrelevant, right? It just so happened that in that year, it was Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day was like, what I mean is that throughout this winter break, right? One of these days was Valentine's Day, right? And I thought this was the perfect opportunity, right? So what do you think I did? After literally nearly 6 months of texting every day, right? Of just like overthinking it to the extreme. What I did is I finally grabbed the courage for once in my life and I wrote her like this paragraph of a message, right? Just thinking, oh yeah, so would you wanna meet up? Oh shit, my setup. I was just running around the box, right? I don't think it was that long of a message, because what's actually relevant is that after a few minutes, she responded. And she responded with an even longer paragraph. Okay, my message, if those are the proportions of a screen, my message was like, let's say this, like, you know, a few layers, right? It wasn't short, it was rather long. Her message was like it was like a bomb. It was a bombshell of a message, right? And it was the nicest way possible for her to say that she sees me as a friend. Friend zone, basically, right? Not interested. Back then, I genuinely, okay, I'm being honest here, this hurt me more, this friend zone hurt me more than any rejection, any breakup that I went through in my life. And honestly, this is this is a way more authentic video than I expected. I'm just letting things out of me, really, but yeah, this hurt me more than any breakup or any like other friend zone that I went through in my life. This was like the strongest hit that I ever took in this realm, right? And it affected me quite a bit. Like, you see this bed over here? Okay, this is gonna really make me sound like a bitch, but literally in that winter, I was laying in that bed, like heads to the pillows, literally, and just like listening to my fucking Dawn FM by the weekend, right? It was tough, right? But here's the thing. I want you to compare this entire story, like just take this lifespan of it, 6 months. Let's just round it up to around 6 months, right? Versus what you could do instead is you could just for once in your damn life grab yourself by your tiny little walnuts, your tiny little nuts that are dangling over there, and just walk up to it and speak like a normal human being. And it's simple as that, right? The thing that you gotta understand is speaking to girls, it's not like this level 100 boss. Wait, I actually really like that. I'm gonna put that in the title. It's not like a 100% boss where it's like a fucking Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda where you have to like grind the game for 300 hours to get there. No. In most cases, you don't even know the girl. Or you only know her a little bit? What's the point of going on a date? To get to know her more. So in reality, what's really gonna happen if worst come to worst, you don't like meet up with her, right? Or whatever, she rejects you, she has a boyfriend, whatever. What's the worst that happens? Your life goes back to where you were before. You don't lose anything, because here's the thing, you never had anything to begin with. She was never yours. And that's the harsh thing that you have to understand, my friend. Our minds love to convince us that we are losing something. Like, it's like when you get rejected, you get this like this shock of cringe. You get this layer of just negative energy, just where your mind turns literally against you. And you just feel about yourself like a bitch, right? I'm pretty sure this is a feeling that you're very familiar with if you're watching all the way here, right? This is something that you're definitely familiar with. So it's not a pleasant feeling, right? What you need to keep in mind is the more you will overthink it, the more you will stress your mind about speaking to that person, guess what? The more stressful it's going to be. Just imagine this proportion, right? Just put this idea in your mind. The longer you will wait, the more pressure you will put on yourself in your mind. Just by thinking about it, right? Thinking about it. The more of that pressure is actually going to affect you when you speak to that person. And all you really needs, like, think of it as objectively as you can. All you have to do is walk up to that person and talk to them. Like, from the objective way of looking at things, how simple is that to walk up to somebody and speak to them? So what's really stopping us then? The answer is pretty obvious, right? It's just your mind. It's not something physical. Obviously, brain is a physical organ, but you get the narrative, right? There isn't anything that's physically stopping you from doing it. It's just your mind. And the more power you give to your mind, to those negative thoughts, the more it's going to affect you. And here's another thing that's gonna mind-boggle you for a little bit. You're not your brain. And you are definitely not your thoughts. Because you don't control what thought's going to come up next, right? Here's the thing. I'm gonna give you a little experiment. For the next 3 seconds, I want you to think about anything, literally anything that you want. You can think about whatever object, whatever person comes to your mind, except this blue pen. Fuck, it's green. That's what it's like to speak 2 or even 3 languages, right? Think about anything but this green pen for the next 3 seconds. What's gonna happen? You couldn't be thinking about anything except the green pen, because we can't not think about things. That's just how weird our minds have been constructed, right? So when you sit there and you just think about every single possible way you could screw this shit up, you are boiling this pot of negative energy even further, the hotter it gets. And the hotter it gets, the more it affects you. You get the narrative? You get the this random analogy? It's just the way our minds work. The more you're gonna stress yourself about walking up to that person, the harder it'll be. But when you just do it, as soon as you do it, right? And this is a mistake that even I sometimes fall for, right? Where it's like, I want to speak to somebody, because like, I'm a human. I'm not gonna act like I'm some fucking superhero, right? I'm just here to make a point. I'm a human. And sometimes, not all the time, right? Obviously, I made progress. This is the reason why I teach it on YouTube. But obviously, there are times where even I just freeze, where I want to do something and I don't do it, right? But what matters is that you actually make progress long term. One time of you not doing it, it's not the end of the world, right? Like think of it as like trading. I don't know shit about trading, right? So trading for me is just about like fucking green graphs and like the red graphs, right? But when you zoom in on a trading graph, you will see that there's a lot of green, red, green, red, green, red. You're gonna make a little bit of money here, drop. You're gonna lose like all of it, maybe even double. Then it goes up again, down again, right? But the thing is, when you're able to zoom out and look at it from a long-term perspective, what matters is that you are actually making progress. Think of it long term, right? Just because one time you messed up doesn't mean that you're not confident entirely, right? But that's not an excuse for you to not actually make progress. You see, here's the thing. You're gonna have to step outside of your bubble. Because that's where the most progress actually happens, right? And I just really want you to remember this example. Compare this one random guy. Let's say he looks like a 5 out of 10. Imagine that one guy from maybe your class, maybe your personal life, somebody you just don't like, who doesn't have the most attractive face in the world. Imagine he walks up to the girl you want to walk up to, and he just talks to her. And it's just that, 30 seconds. Let's say the conversation lasted up to 30 seconds, right? Compare those 30 seconds to my fucking 6 months. Maybe for you it could be even longer, right? If you struggle with anxiety more than I did. Just do the comparison. What's 30 seconds to 6 fucking months? It's nothing. It's nothing, right? And this guy over here who walks up to this girl, gets rejected, 30 seconds, right? That's all it lasted. He's gonna feel this awkwardness, right? This negative energy. But it will be far less stronger of an effect than it was for 6 months. This is why I say that it hurt me more than any other breakup I had in my life. It was because this feeling that built up in the meantime is just, that's when it breaks. That's when it like fucking collapses, right? I hope you get what I mean. So this is just me expressing my thoughts there, well, right? I know that if this video only makes 50 views, there'll always be at least one person who actually learned something, right? So I genuinely believe this is the advice that needs to be talked about. Just don't think of speaking to girls as like this, who the fuck's knocking on my door? Don't think of it as a level 100 boss fight. Don't think of it as like a fucking Bowser from Mario or whatever. You don't need to build it up for so long just for you to ask a question, which you could have asked in just a few seconds. Simple as that. Don't get attached to people who you don't even know. Really, that's about all I had to say on that topic. Yeah, if you want to talk to me directly whilst hanging around a community that actually understands your struggles and experiences, please join the Discord server. I can pretty much assure you, my friend, that a community like ours is unreplaceable. You won't find people like us who genuinely look out for each other anywhere else on the planet. Genuinely. I really hope that you don't see me as just like a guy behind the screen. I really don't want to leave that impression. I just want to help people, really. That's pretty much it. Is my cat in the room? Sheesh, my cat's not in the room. So comment the word green pen if you made it all the way here, you know? I always do this thing in the end of my videos where I tell you to comment a random word, right? Because this just shows the algorithm that people actually want to watch it. So yeah, that would be pretty much it for today. That was a wonderful lesson. Probably one of my most authentic videos ever out of the nearly 300 videos that I dropped. Most definitely. Alright, I'm not gonna waste your time. You can click all the videos if you want to. You can subscribe as well. That would really mean a lot to me. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next video, brother. So keep working, brother. And take care.